Hello, my name is Lucy Graham, and we're going to take a look at the beginning of my travel blogs. We'll give a few minutes for everyone to get ready, and we'll begin soon. Hello, everyone. My name is Lucy Graham. I operate an online business called Lucy Resources. I help baby boomers like myself, mostly teachers, solve their biggest problem involving the decision of when to retire by providing education and training opportunities on how to become a complete entrepreneur. I do this so that teachers can have the skills and tools necessary to take that leap with confidence and have the freedom to live life abundantly, living the life of their dreams, something that previously seemed impossible. My mission statement is living life abundantly. And this is based on John 10:10, where Jesus says, I have come that you might have life and have it abundantly. So who is Lucy Graham? Well, my name is Lucy Graham. My parents married after my dad came home from England, serving in the RCAF as a radar specialist during World War II. They had 3 daughters, and I was the middle child. We grew up in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and enjoyed the opportunities my parents could afford. Dad worked for the telephone company. I loved sports and played every sport offered at school. I was the provincial high school champ and not the high school champ, sorry. I was the provincial high jump champ. I loved participating in athletics, and my specialty was the high jump. The year I graduated from the 12th grade, I was awarded Female Athlete of the Year from Dartmouth High School. I also graduated second highest in my class of over 700 students and received several scholarships for university. Growing up in a Christian home, faith in God and my personal relationship with Jesus, who is my Lord and Savior and my best friend, was and is an important part of my life. I went to Explorers and CGIT, that stands for Canadian Girls in Training. And the summer between high school and university, I was fortunate to be able to attend CGIT Camp Council. I headed off to university with a renewed conviction and commitment to live my life for Christ. I attended UNB, that's the University of New Brunswick, in Fredericton, and played varsity field hockey and JV basketball all 3 years of my undergrad degree. I graduated with honors and received my BPE, which is called the Bachelor of Physical Education. And I had a minor in mathematics. This was in 1970. Following graduation, I got my first teaching position at Centre Consolidated School in Lunenburg County, Nova Scotia, teaching math and PE. I went to summer school and completed a second degree by 1974, receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics. I taught and coached sports teams for 7 years in Lunenburg County, Nova Scotia. During the last 2 years at Centre, my sister had moved to Lethbridge, Alberta, to attend school. She would call and reverse the charges and talk for hours. I decided it was cheaper to move west, so I resigned, packed up my car, and moved over 3,000 miles to live with Ruth. After doing a few part-time temporary jobs, I managed to do some substitute teaching and got a position on a Hutterite colony, teaching in a one-room school. 9 grades, and the younger ones came to school not knowing English. Eventually, I was offered a full-time position and stayed at the colony for 5 years before getting a 3-4 split class at another Lethbridge County school. I taught in 2 other schools in the county and took early retirement in 2002. Meanwhile, my sister moved on and joined the Foreign Affairs Department of Canada. She had numerous 2 to 3 year assignments all over the world, and I had the chance to travel and spend a summer with her whenever she had a new posting. After retiring from teaching in Canada, I accepted a position with an international school in Kuwait. I taught high school math at UAS, Universal American School in Kuwait, for 7 years. I was in Kuwait during the invasion of Iraq and returned to Canada in 2009. My reason for leaving was to help look after my dad. Mom had died in 2002, and Dad was needing more home care. Dad lived to be 94 and was able to stay in his own home until the last week of his life. Dad passed in 2012. After my teaching career, I loved to travel and use school breaks to visit places all over the world. I am also passionate about ringing handbells and have enjoyed sorry about that. I am passionate about ringing handbells and have enjoyed other English handbell ringers, have enjoyed joining other English handbell ringers at international symposiums and festivals. One of my best friends, who died in January of 2020, always said I should write a book. Each weekly visit, she would ask what country I wrote about this time. Her encouragement through this process has been the driving force in writing a book. Did you ever have people say to you things like, you should write a book? You should write stories about your mom and dad? You should write about all the places you have been? These are words that some of my close friends have said to me on a number of occasions. Should I write about my many experiences and share my stories with all of you? I set up a Facebook page and called it Traveling with Lucy Resources. Maybe that's what I should share on this page. Travel the world with Lucy from Lucy Resources. Someone asked how many countries I'd visited, and off the top of my head, I said, probably 100. Well, why don't you write a series called Traveling Tuesdays and write about each place each week? That was his next comment. And so the idea was starting to gel. The first thing I did was wonder if I should tell the stories in chronological order or alphabetical order. And so I wrote down the alphabet and made a list of the countries I had traveled to besides each letter. I learned something. There's only one country that starts with O, and that is Oman. Guess what? I was there twice when I taught in Kuwait. I had the opportunity to travel to Oman with the school volleyball team as a chaperone for one of the girls' varsity teams. There's only one country that begins with the letter W, and that is Wales in the UK. And yes, I've been in Wales on a trip to England. Friends from my church in Lethbridge had moved with their family to Canada, and they were from Wales. I had the opportunity to visit Wendy's parents at their home near Cardiff in Wales. I also learned there are no countries that start with X, but there are places in China that start with X. When I get to the letter X, I want to tell you about the terracotta warriors that I had the chance to see while staying in a city nearby that starts with an X. So now that I have piqued your interest, let this adventure begin. The first thing I did was wonder if I should write the stories in chronological order. I like this picture. I want to travel around the world. Here's my list of all the countries that I have visited. And as you can see, there's no X. And the only Y there is in the world is Yemen. And it's very dangerous to travel there. In fact, Canadians aren't allowed. So I don't have any answer for that one. Remember I said 100? I miscalculated. But wait, I've been and experienced so many amazing things in various places all over the world. I'll start with another list. Here's a list of places. If you look at these, A for Alberta, Alaska, Austin, Texas, Auckland, Alps to go skiing, Athens, the Parthenon. None of those places are countries. Some are cities, some are provinces, some are mountains. Look at B, Banff, a bike ride. That starts with B as well. The Badlands. I've been to the Passion Play. Brisbane. An International Handbell Symposium in 2006. The Bay of Plenty. That's in New Zealand. Blarney Stone. Oh, Ireland. Cabot Trail. That's in Nova Scotia. Chinook Camp Carith. I was the director there. Calgary Stampede. Columbia Icefields. Cliffs of Moher. Canberra. Corinth. Calgary Olympics in 1988. Wow, my list gets longer and longer. So if you combine my two lists, I have over 100 stories that I could share. Here's the second page. See, I do have some things to put in for the X. Qian, the Terracotta Warriors. There's a university called Saint of X, Francis Xavier University. Went there many summers to take part in some athletic events. And finally, Y, Yukon. I've been up there panning for gold. Yellowstone National Park, where you can see Old Faithful. And I also went whitewater rafting nearby. Oh, lots of great stories and adventures to come. So next time, I'll begin sharing 2 stories that happened on my first trip to a country starting with the letter A. Stay tuned. See you there. Bye. Have a great day.